Hat and the Superglue. The following morning, just before the father left for his beastly second-hand car garage, Matilda slipped into the cloakroom and got hold of the hat he wore every day to work. She had to stand on her toes and reach up as high as she could with a walking stick in order to hook the hat off of the peg, and even then she only just made it. The hat itself was one of those flat-top pork pie jobs with a jay's feather stuck in the hat band, and Mr. Wormwood was very proud of it. He thought it gave him a rakish, daring look, especially when he wore it at an angle, with his loud checked jacket and his green tie. Matilda, holding the hat in one hand and a thin tube of superglue in the other, proceeded to squeeze a line of glue very neatly all around the inside rim of the hat. Then she carefully hooked the hat back onto the peg with the walking stick. She timed this operation very carefully, applying the glue just as her father was getting up from the breakfast table. Mr. Wormwood didn't notice anything when he put the hat on, but when he arrived at the garage, he couldn't get it off. Superglue is very powerful stuff. So powerful, it will take your skin off if you pull it too hard. Mr. Wormwood didn't want to be scalped, so he had to keep the hat on his head the whole entire day long, even when he was putting sawdust in gearboxes and fiddling the mileages of cars with his electric drill. In an effort to save face, he adopted a casual attitude, hoping his staff would think that he actually meant to keep his hat on all day long, just for the heck of it, like gangsters do in films. When he got home that evening, he still couldn't get the hat off. "Don't be silly," his wife said. "Come here and I'll take it off for you." She gave the hat a sharp yank. Mr. Wormwood let out a yell that rattled the window panes. "Ow!" he screamed. "Don't do that! Let go! It'll take half the skin off my forehead." Matilda, nestling in an unusual chair, was watching this performance over the rim of her book with some interest. "What's the matter, Daddy?" she said. "Has your head suddenly swollen or something?" The father glared at his daughter with deep suspicion, but he said nothing. How could he? Mrs. Wormwood said to him, "It must be superglue. Couldn't be anything else. That'll teach you to go playing around with nasty stuff like that. I expect you were trying to stick your feather into your own hat." "Haven't touched the flaming stuff," Mr. Wormwood shouted. He turned round and looked again at Matilda, who looked back at him with large, innocent brown eyes. Mrs. Wormwood said to him, "You should read the label on the tube before you start messing around with dangerous products. Always follow the instructions on the label." "What in heaven's name are you talking about, you stupid witch?" Mr. Wormwood shouted, clutching the brim of his hat to stop anyone and trying to pull it off again. "Do you really think I'm so stupid? I was going to glue this thing on my head on purpose." My question for you guys today is, what was Mr. Wormwood very proud of?